Welcome back to another video which is permitted under the copyright statutes of fair use and fair dealing. Content is developed under the free speech protections which gives me the right to hold an opinion. Commenters are encouraged. Now, as we all know, UK was found not guilty on all 3 counts of trying to pie Peace's child. In case you want to understand the backstory, go and watch the last video. So Peace now is appealing the not guilty verdict.
That video is full of lies, and she didn't even correct the person that, oh, you are getting your facts wrong. She's thanking God that, thank God, though, the child I wanted to buy did not buy.
Peace, why are you like this? You know, we see what you're trying to do there. You know, she did not say that the child she wanted to pie did not pie, thank God. She said, thank goodness the child did not pie. Because if the child had pied, the level of lies that you would have heaped on top of her head would have been on another level. That's what she meant. She didn't say the child I did not pie. I wanted to pie, did not pie. Please. Anyway, let's continue.
So just a few questions here, then we can proceed.
It's clear, Peace, that you really do love law. You actually even sound like a lawyer. But let me remind you, I am the one asking the questions, not you. But it's not too late to go back to school, Peace, and pursue your dreams of law. Don't give up on them like your cousin Jenny. And maybe if you did that, it will stop you from coming out with all of these unfounded allegations. Anyway, let's continue. So, as I said before, this is an appeal by Peace to the Supreme Court of YouTube or social media. So, the first charge was that UK is the source of all of the family's problems. Unfortunately, in her latest video, Peace does not address this first charge at all. Therefore, the verdict of not guilty is upheld. Now, the other charges that she made are that UK wanted to intentionally pie the child. And as I said before in the previous video, this is the only thing on the table. I'm not interested in understanding what color underwear you were wearing, you know, where the events took place or anything like that. I just want to understand, did she intentionally want to pie your child? So, in the social media Supreme Court, the defendant is UK, claimant is Peace, and the charge is whether UK wanted to intentionally harm or pie Peace's child. Now, what do I mean by intent? So when I say intent or intention, I mean acting with the goal that you want to harm or pie that child. Yeah. So UK got up on that day and said, yes, I've decided I'm going to try and pie this child today. And she acts to try and pie that child. And there needs to be proof that she tried to do that. So did she give the child something harmful to swallow? Did she physically injure the child? Did she not assist the child when the child was in danger? These are the only questions that we need to answer, because this is what Peace is accusing UK of. So let's just revisit briefly, because like I said, there's some things which we already addressed and we disproved in the previous video. So there's absolutely no need to revisit those things. But Peace is coming now, she says, with new evidence. So let's listen. So the first one was the attempt to pie the child at 7 days old. What's the new evidence, Peace?
She said that the child wasn't 7 days old or 8 days old. The naming had finished early in the morning. We were at the police station after your conspiracy. We were at the police station, and then you came in the evening.
Okay, so let's say we now uphold what you say, Peace, okay? And you say that, yes, truly the child was 7 days old. Well, this then proves that UK definitely was not guilty. Let me tell you why. A 7 days old baby is very different from a 7 weeks old baby. You would have been better sticking with the 7 weeks, Because if you're trying to say that UK came and she squeezed your child to the point where there was blood all over, maybe a 7 weeks old baby could withstand that. But a 7 weeks old baby with blood all over, there would definitely be some degree of internal soft tissue damage to the organs, to the brain. That baby would have needed medical attention. And as you said to us in the previous trial, in the previous video, you did not mind. You did not go to the hospital. You did not get UK arrested. Nothing happened to that child. 3 days later, after staying in the police station, you and your boyfriend went back home. So there was no evidence that this child was injured by UK. And also, what's your proof that she wanted to pie the baby? That she went there with that intent in her mind, mens rea, that she wanted to pie the child? What's your new proof?
You talked about, if blood had came out of the baby's body, we would have rushed the baby to the hospital.
Okay, so you're going to now tell us about how you rushed the child to the hospital or the injuries that the child suffered? Come on, Peace.
Why did you even have to squeeze the baby for the blood to come out so that we'll rush the baby to the hospital?
But did you take the child to the hospital or not? This is a 7 days old baby that was squeezed until the blood came out.
Why? Why? If not wickedness, if not because you have a very devilish heart, nobody can get it before you. Nobody can have anything before you. It has to be you first.
But I'm asking you again, Peace, because you've come with new evidence. We are trying to help you here. Where is the evidence that she wanted to pie the child by squeezing? And where's the evidence that the child actually was squeezed at 7 days?
Imagine that as you squeezed that baby that day in that police station, that baby cried. What would you have said?
So I'm sorry, Peace, but once again, you have not submitted any evidence to prove intent that UK squeezed your child to the point where blood came out, a 7 days old child that would definitely have had internal, external injuries that would have necessitated medical treatment. So therefore, that second verdict is upheld. UK is not guilty of attempted child pie in 2010. Now let's continue. So, you now, I believe, have new evidence for the second pie attempt when the child was now 8 years old. Is that correct, Peace?
My daughter had mistakenly swallowed that bulb.
So, I want to just remind you, Peace, before you continue, that you said that your daughter had mistakenly swallowed the bulb. So, you haven't submitted any evidence that UK intentionally gave her that bulb in an attempt to pie her. Yes?
My daughter had mistakenly swallowed that bulb.
So you admit that your daughter, for whatever reason, had taken a bulb and more than likely was playing with the bulb in her mouth, maybe running around. But then when she put the bulb back, there was a piece left underneath the bulb terminal that was left in her mouth. So if you know it was a mistake, why are you so angry with UK for saying that? Why is she being blamed for putting the bulb in the child's mouth?
You even had, as wicked as you are, and as black as your heart is, you even had the guts to ask, am I the one that carried the thing and put in the child's mouth? Look at the question that a mother would ask. As at this time, you already had 2 children.
Yes, that is a question that a mother would ask, Peace. Because it's about intent. Remember, the whole point of this court case is about, did she have a guilty mind? Did she decide that she wanted to try and pie this child? And did she act to try and pie the child? So this would be the key thing that all of us would want to know. Did she put this in your child's mouth? Did she put this in your child's mouth? But you yourself have already said, mistakenly the bulb went in, so you know that it did not go into her mouth.
As at this time, you already had 2 children. As at this time, you already had 2 children, so you were a mother. Even though you didn't really experience labor because you gave birth to your 2 children through CS, you know, if you do labor. But as at that point, you already knew the pain of childbirth.
You've lost the case because you're not sticking to the facts. What do you mean, she's not a mother because she gave birth by CS? Are you trying to tell us that you don't think she's capable of caring for a child? That she's not a real mother by giving birth by CS? I mean, absolute nonsense. Are you trying to make us see her testimony, the evidence she gives, as rubbish, and yours must be great because you pushed the child or 2 children out of your pecus? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Stick to the facts. All of this emotional language, trying to paint your sister in a bad light is not going to change the fact that you haven't given us any evidence as to how she tried to pie your child. So, peace, this is completely thrown out. It is not relevant to the case. So what you are saying now is that because she had 2 children by cesarean section, then that means that she didn't have the feelings to understand that this child needed to go to the hospital. I mean, how do you draw the 2 conclusions? So that's completely thrown out, not upheld. Now, Peace, you are bringing new evidence as to why you believe that UK tried to pie your child. And that is the fact that she took her own child to the hospital when the child was sick, but she did not do the same for your child.
If you are saying you were not trying to pie that child, that means you feel my own child's life is worthless. It worths nothing. That was why a child would swallow bulb.
So let's just remind ourselves again, because this is where it becomes very emotional. There is no way a whole bulb would have gone into that child's mouth and she would have swallowed it. It was agreed on the x-ray that it was the bulb terminal. So maybe this little metal thing here at the bottom, this was what the child had swallowed. It was in her mouth. She took it, put it back, but this part was left inside her mouth. Okay? Try not to use so much emotional language, Peace, to try and convince us. The wicked, she's evil, deceptive, she's not a mother. You don't need to use any of this language. Just tell us the facts, and then we will work out whether she had the intent to try and pie your child. We don't need the emotional language like a whole bulb. She was wicked, deceptive, evil, dark. She's not a mother. We don't need any of that information to try and convince us. Just tell us the facts. The facts will speak for themselves. Okay, Peace?
When your own child fell inside the gutter, why didn't you decide to keep that child at home and rub palm oil on that child's body? If you truly were not trying to buy that child.
What was wrong with her giving the child palm oil? Or palm oil is a normal, everyday household item which people can drink, people cook and eat with it, and it would not cause any harm. Palm oil is known for its health benefits. It's anti-cancer, anti-tumor. UK has a background in physics and electronics. Maybe she felt it was going to help counteract any radiation in the metal that might be in there, even though she wasn't sure that there might be any metal. So there was nothing wrong with her giving the child palm oil. If anything, it would have been a benefit to the child, and definitely is not an attempt to pie the child. So next.
Because my own, no be mama born now. If you were not trying to pie the child, no be mama born my own.
So this is your new evidence now that you want to submit to the court, that UK tried to pie your child because when it was her own child, she did not do the same thing and took the child to the hospital. Well, let me just say that it does not hold, because these were 2 completely different incidents. Your child had choked on something which was not seen, and the child continued to play after 10 minutes. There were no visible signs of harm, and the child was observed, and then you were informed about the choking. Okay? UK's child had fallen into the gutter, had a huge visible gash or cut on his leg, which was bleeding, the leg was open, it needed immediate attention, and she went for stitches. So if you came instead with another incident where maybe something was not visible and UK still took the child, rushed the child to the hospital, maybe that would stand in the court. Besides, you can see on UK's channel, there have been incidents where the youngest boy, as an example, has been injured, like a broom entered his eyes and his eyes were very swollen. Did UK rush to take that child to the hospital? No. She attempted, first of all, to try conservative measures and to observe before taking the child to the hospital as the primary caregiver later on that day or even the next day when the child was not getting better. So it goes to prove that she did for your child what she would have done for her own child. So that argument that you bring today will not be upheld. Now, the other argument that you bring that she wanted to pie your child is the fact that she put her fingers in your daughter's throat.
So this is how much you love my child. If you are not trying to pie the child, then why would you then try to use your hand to force the thing in? Why?
So you might have a point here because you are suggesting that her putting her fingers in may have forced that thing in further. Now, in the previous trial, I did say to you that yes, it is advised, do not put your hands in the child's throat unless you can absolutely see. You can absolutely see that object and you have 100% confidence that you can actually bring that object out. But I want to remind you also about the circumstances, okay? So this is the trachea or the windpipe. So this is where that bulb terminal metal part went down. It went down here. And what's really important to prove that UK's actions of putting her fingers in your child's throat did not force it further down and did not therefore cause further harm is this. UK explains that when she found the child, the child was gasping or gagging. This suggests that the object, the metal bulb terminal, was already past the mouth, past the throat and into that trachea or that windpipe. This is also supported by the fact that the child was talking. Yeah, so that also means that the object had passed beyond the mouth and was already in the airway. Yeah, UK's fingers can only reach so far. They will only be able to reach maybe the back of the mouth, the top part of the throat. It cannot go all the way down into the airway. So there was evidence that that metal bulbed terminal was already in the airway because the child was gasping, gagging, and the child could talk. So therefore, there is no way she would have pushed the object further down. So that is not upheld. Now, the other thing that you speak about and that you try to proffer up as new evidence is the aspect of the dream. You say that you had a dream, but you did not tell UK about the dream.
That my child died in the dream. And that why didn't I rush down to come and check? So your child goes to visit your sister. You call your sister, is my child okay? Your sister says yes. Even after she has said yes, I should still rush down to go and check if the child is okay.
Yes, I would say that yes, you should rush down. And this is because you then have now said this in this new trial.
Because I was on my own. She called me, of course, in a usual deceptive way, trying to make it look like, oh, she wants to make peace with me, she wants to settle.
So this shows you're using the word deceptive, that you did not trust your sister. Yeah. Now, if at the beginning you had said to us that, yes, I didn't trust my sister, she begged for this child to come down. And then after this incident, when she started getting sick, because I didn't trust my sister still, that's the reason why I didn't inform her for 3 months the child was unwell. Maybe that would have stood, but you've already given your testimony in the previous trial. So we are not going to go back on that. But it's clear that you did not trust your sister.
So why do I need to tell my sister I had a dream? If something happens to my child, don't I have a right to know?
Yes, you have a right to know, but you are now explaining the reason why you did not want to tell your sister you had that dream, because you felt that she was deceptive. You did not trust your sister.
Have a right to know, or is she not required? Simple courtesy requires that she informs me as the mother of that child.
As I said before, we don't want to revisit old ground. In the previous trial, we have already explained why it is very clear that UK told you about your child. Now, I want to put it to you, Peace, that there's also strong evidence that your daughter would have told you about this choking incident. Why? Because I have to say, I have looked at videos of your daughter. Your daughter is highly intelligent, very confident, and extremely articulate. There is no way such a child would not spontaneously tell you about what happened at UK's house. That, oh, mummy, I went to Auntie UK's house and I had this, because it's such a traumatic event, she would remember. So she would have spontaneously told you that. You also would have asked your daughter because you did not trust UK. You said she was deceptive. So after spending a few days at UK's house, you would have come back and asked your daughter, examined your daughter, what happened at Auntie UK's house? Did she beat you? Did she do this? Did anything happen? And your daughter would have told you. And as I said before, there are clear videos about the personality of your daughter and how articulate and intelligent she is. There is no way such a child would not have given you that information, either with you asking her or her giving the information up spontaneously. So this is your child piece.
Hello, my name is Audrey. I'm from Uyo State. And this is my aunt. And this is my auntie. This is my sister. This is my small sister. They're always like looking for trouble. If she see you, she will beat you and beat you. She will forget yourself. Thank you.
So as I said before, very articulate, able to express herself. She will not even wait for you to ask her, even though I'm definitely sure, because of that comment you made about deception by your sister, that you would have asked your child.
I'm drinking milk. Please subscribe to our new comedy video. And as you can see, I'm eating bread. I'm eating bread. And I'm drinking milk. So please subscribe to our... Shut up your mouth!
So this is not a child that you could not get information from. For 3 months, you could not get information. Even if we believe you that, yes, from day one, because remember, you said day one, that day one after coming from UK's house, the child became unwell. Is this a child that you would not have questioned? Did anything happen at UK's house? Did anything happen at all? Why are you feeling unwell? Did you take something? Did you swallow something? With the child herself, because you said it happened from day one, not even start to tell you, oh yes, the day before it was at Auntie UK's house and this happened. So there is absolutely no way that you did not know about the choking incident just based on this. But also, we proved yesterday that UK had told you. Now, the other evidence you bring up is that the videos I gave to you yesterday showing you that you said that UK had tried to pie your child, and the normal actions of a mother would be to keep the children away from that source of danger. But we saw from March 2018, when this choking incident happened, that your children were still in the company of UK and her family. From 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, there were video upon video. You are now trying to bring evidence to say that these were forced visits.
All those videos, blah, 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 blah. You know severally that I want my children to stay away from your house. If you see my kids in UK's house, UK forced them to go there. You, in your very forceful and violent and authoritative way, you will go, oh yeah, you should dress up and come for fortune birthday.
Okay. Now, this may be a point that could be upheld, but the videos that we saw did not disinclude your children at Fortune's birthday. There was this video where your daughter was being crowned winner of the beauty pageant of Miss World, and UK was there filming. Why would UK be there at what is maybe a school unless she was invited to go there? Why would she push herself into this personal event? How did she know about this personal event unless she was invited to go there? So that once again is not upheld, that your children were being forced to be in these situations, or you didn't know that UK was there.
Even that video, that's the last part of that video, that she was trying to feature me in the video, blah, 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 blah. Didn't you see how I just tried to say, hey, hi, good morning, and I walked past?
Yeah. You mean this video piece? I mean, if you look at this video, UK had not even called you towards them. You were naturally walking towards UK. Yeah, because you wanted to be in the video.
Yes, that's great. And here is peace. Yeah. So she's also my sister. Kingsley is my brother.
You do not look forced in that video. You wave once and then you wave twice and you look at the video. Yeah?
You did wine. Can you show me videos and pictures of me and you together? Can you? After that incident, apart from my elder brother's marriage introduction, which of course I needed to be happy for him.
Now, if you're saying that you and UK were fighting at this point, this is now 2021, 3 years after the choking incident, and you're only here because you're there on behalf of your brother, I would expect you, Peace, to be on that side of your brother. I would expect you to be still so angry, as you claim, that you would not be anywhere near UK. You would be on that side near to your brother. You definitely would not be smiling like this. I mean, you said as your testimony, body language is very important. Your body language here does not speak of somebody who hates this woman, that believes that this woman tried to pie her child. Your chin is on her shoulder. You are smiling from ear to ear. You are touching one another. So that is not upheld at all. And then later on in the ceremony, you can see UK sitting in front of you in the ceremony. If I hated this woman because she wanted to pie my daughter, I would not be allowing this woman to be anywhere near me. I would not want her to be sitting in front of me. I would not even be touching the child's cheek. I would not be helping her to serve the guests in the introduction. So look what you do with UK's son, showing the affection towards the son in front of his mother, and then you are now helping the mother to serve. Even here, you can see, your body language as you're looking towards your sister. And you can see how you're very, very relaxed looking at your sister. You're not looking at your sister with like hatred. You're not looking at your sister as if, oh yes, I don't want to be around this woman. The body language says it all. That's your sister there. And look at you. You do not look like somebody who hates this woman. Yeah. And then she comes in front of you. Now, I'm somebody who I love body language. When she came in front of you like this, I would have been, someone who hates this woman, that she wanted to pie the child. I would have moved my legs away. I would not want to be anywhere near this woman. But you're not concerned. And then you allow her to sit in front of you serving the drinks. So I put it to you that the attempted pie did not happen. You did not believe it in 2018, 2019, 2020, or even 2021. You did not believe it because the videos show that you had no concerns for your child. So therefore, there was no evidence that you were concerned that UK was about to pie this child. Besides which, you still haven't supplied any strong evidence that she intended or she acted with intent to pie your child. And then the new evidence that you bring today is that she also tried to finish off the job of pieing the child when the child was in a coma in intensive care.
You brought camera into the ICU. Carry your phone. Make you no come complete the work where you be one start. You are a science student too. You are a science student, right? A person that read physics electronics is the person not supposed to understand or know that certain complicated gadgets can react with frequencies. Even the doctors themselves, when they go to the ICU, they don't go in with their phone.
So you essentially are trying to say that she tried to finish off the job. She couldn't pie the child initially by allowing the child to mistakenly swallow the bulb. She couldn't pie the child initially by informing you that the child had swallowed this bulb. She couldn't pie the child initially by suggesting to you after 3 months that the child started coughing blood, that you go for an x-ray. So now she's trying to finish off the job in the ICU by taking in her camera and her phone, which is going to interfere with all of the, intensive care equipment. And that's going to now pie your child finally. Interesting piece. So you haven't given us any evidence that the doctors came and told you that you cannot take mobile phones or any gadgets into the ICU. Yeah. The other thing that's quite interesting is the fact that UK is even there in the first place. If you're saying that you felt she was going to pie your child, why is she hanging around the ICU? Yeah, unless you had kept her up to speed with what was going on. The other thing you need to understand with this equipment is that the equipment is designed to be shielded and protected from high electromagnetic radiation. And things such as mobile phones and cameras, the radiation that they would give out will be so low that they would not impact that equipment anyway, unless they were placed very close to really sensitive devices. Mobile phones, computers, laptops are allowed in the ICU. In fact, they're an integral part of how ICU is managed. So that once again does not hold. Doctors take their mobile phones, laptops into ICU. How do they communicate with one another if there are no phones there? So that also is not upheld. There's no evidence that UK wanted to pie your child in the ICU. So is that all the evidence that you have, Peace? Unless, once again, you can prove you were not told. And, and even if you were told, there's still no evidence that UK acted with the intent to try and pie your child, because there's no evidence that she forced this bulb terminal into the child's throat. For that reason, we in the Supreme Court of Social Media uphold the not guilty verdicts on all 3 charges. And if anything, we would want to actually charge you for neglect. And let me explain to you why. UK is not the primary caregiver of your child. She is not the legal primary caregiver, whether it's in the UK, whether it's in Nigeria. She did not have full responsibility for the child's medical care. UK, from the evidence that we have seen, informed you about the choking incident. And she also checked on your child. So she took reasonable actions within her role as a secondary caregiver. You, however, Peace, are the primary caregiver and you're legally responsible for your child's health and safety. You were informed of that choking by UK, and especially your child, as we've seen, would have told you, but you did not take immediate action. You waited for 3 whole months until she started coughing up blood and the child became critically ill. So you neglected your child by not acting on that information and delaying medical care. The verdict is that you failed in your caregiving duties as the primary legal caregiver. And you actually should be the one charged with neglect due to your failure to provide proper care and seek help immediately. Yeah, it's your responsibility as the mother. It is not UK's responsibility. The only thing is that she should have told you, and there's evidence that she told you, there's evidence that your child told you. If she didn't tell you, and there's no evidence of that, that would still not be intent to pie. It would just be negligence. But there's no evidence of negligence because she told you. The evidence is there. But we are not going to uphold this verdict against you. Why? Because we think that you've suffered enough, and we think that you should have learnt enough, that you almost lost your child through your negligence. So are there any last words, Peace?
Talking about juju. God, I beg go. Talking about juju, guys. Do you know that as children, Ukeme carried us to Babalawo? Do you know that as children, Ukeme packed all of us in the house to Babalawo? That is a story for another day.
It's very clear, Peace, that there is some hidden issues and grudges that you have against your sister. It is not a place for the court to discuss this, but as part of this trial, it has become clear that there's definitely something seriously going on. Just looking at your parents, you can actually see that something has gone wrong. From 2018, after the choking incident, you were looking like this. Then 2021, you were looking, still okay, plump, your natural self. And then 2024, something serious has happened. It's clear that you're going through some degree of torment, and you have decided to lay every single perceived evil or everything that's happened in your life, you have decided to lay it at the doorstep of your sister. Yeah? From talking about the fact that she is a witch, her mother is a witch, she's jealous of you achieving things first. She stopped you from going to the school of your choice, university, made you drop out. She made you get pregnant because the church said one of you would get pregnant and it was meant to be her first. But then lo and behold, 6 months later, it was you that got pregnant. She stopped your boyfriend from marrying you, even though the parents didn't like you and he was beating you up. She turned your parents against you. It's her fault that your parents have not really spoken to you, especially your dad, for roughly 14 years. And now she wants to pie your daughter. So this circle of heartbreak is now turned into hate, which has made you bring this case to the court. I would suggest that maybe you go and get counseling and try and get some understanding of what is going on inside your psyche. So what lessons can we learn from this case? I mean, for me, I would just say definitely learn to understand the people that you're associating with, even your own family. If you know that your family has really bad intentions towards you and would accuse you of something so serious like this in a heartbeat, just be very careful. I definitely would not be looking after their children. Definitely. So let me know, what do you think in the comments down below? Do you feel that UK was right to take on Peace's children, especially because she should have known that her sister has this level of animosity towards her and could do this to her in 2024? Is lying in saying that she didn't know, especially given how outspoken, outgoing, articulate, confident her daughter is. She says that this happened day one after returning from UK's place, that her daughter started becoming unwell. Do you think it makes sense that she never questioned her daughter about what might have happened at her deceptive sister's place? Let me know in the comments down below. So guys, that's the end of the Kpai trials. We will not be revisiting it again. As I said before, UK has been found not guilty on all 3 charges, and this will stand. We will not be considering any further evidence. For now, I want to just leave you with education on how to deal with choking in children, which is, remember, children can choke on absolutely anything from pen tops to whatever. And, those that are saying, yes, an 8-year-old child should know better. No, people even choke at the age of 15, 16, 18. Let's learn what we should do when we have a child with a choking incident. As I said before, it is incumbent on us as mothers, or if you have caregivers or house helps looking after your children, that everyone should know how to handle a choking child. Now, I'm going to give you the links to the videos in the description box down below. For the sake of time, I'm not going to be showing you the complete videos. We don't have time for that, but you would do what I'm going to show you slightly different if the child is under 4, but you can find the information about that in the links down below. Let's see what should have been done with Peace's child, because she was over the age of 4.
If a child is talking, coughing, crying, or able to make noise, they are likely suffering from a partial foreign body airway obstruction. Encourage them to continue to cough and attempt to expel the object. If the child does expel the object, closely monitor their breathing until you're able to seek medical attention.
And so this is the other thing as well. Even if the thing had come out, you still should have taken it to the clinic or to the hospital. Now, what's the next thing you should do after coughing and it doesn't come out?
The first thing you'd need to do, hold them in your arms. So with the heel of my hand, I'm going to give them a really quite firm blow to their back. It's between their shoulder blade. If it hasn't come out, then you just need to keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What the back blows do is by striking them firmly on their back, it can cause vibration and some pressure in their airway, which will hopefully lift the object up and push it out.
So 5 blows to the back until you see the object come out. If it comes out after the first, then fine. But if it doesn't come out, do 5. And then next.
So if you've done around 5 back blows and the object has still not come out, then
Instruct the child to stand directly in front of you with their back facing you. Place their back flush with your chest and abdomen and extend your arms away from you underneath the level of their armpits. Make a fist with your dominant hand and place it just above the child's belly button. Place your non-dominant hand over top of your fisted hand and roll both hands up and towards yourself. Turn your head to face either the right or the left to avoid having the child's head strike you in the face. Begin to forcefully pull your arms up and towards yourself continuously.
a very quick, fast bringing up movement. What that does is it squeezes the air out of their lungs, which would hopefully push the object up and out of their airway.
So as I said before, links to the videos are in the description box down below. It's very important that we learn to educate ourselves around things such as this. Let's continue on with our movie.